Welcome to Situational Awareness, a podcast brought to you by Militarnyi.com. I am your host, Valentina Kuzak, and today we'll talk to Oleksandr Barabash from Falcons LLC, a company working on innovative solutions that work where GPS is unavailable. Oleksandr may look like a rock star, but he's a CTO of defense tech startups, and he'll take us into magic world of technical specifications, and also he'll deliver an important message to potential investors. Welcome to Situational Awareness, Oleksandr. So great
Thank
to
you.
have you here.
Thank you for having me here today.
We have a really nice news coming up a week ago that you drawn investments from Green Flag Ventures. So can you tell us a bit more about the deal and
Yeah.
some of the details?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me here today. I would like to express what we are, maybe a short description what we are doing here. We're a startup. We started back in 2022. We are specialized in passive radar, direction finders, and radio sensors. And yes, we just recently get funds from the Green Flag Ventures. We're really happy about this because they have really good expertise and their level of involvement into the defense in Ukraine is really on a high top level. So yeah, we're happy with this. Unfortunately, we cannot share the details regarding the round and all that small
Yeah, but
things.
there is
Everyone
some public information,
Yes.
especially on the directions you'll be working with the company. So can you tell us about those directions? You are within this deal. You are working on what?
Well, we've raised money just for several directions. First one is scaling our manufacture facilities and powers. We want to produce more devices for our militaries. Second of all, we are expanding to foreign markets, prioritizing NATO country markets like Baltic countries, for obvious reasons, of course. And these two steps are really crucial for us because, first of all, we want to help Ukraine to win the war, of course, and speed up this process. And second of all, we want to start integrating with NATO countries just on our level, the one that is we are responsible for. So, that's two vectors we are prioritizing right now for ourselves. And everything is looking great so far. We just finished the codification process for our product, which is our main product we are selling right now to our forces. Yeah, so
Tell us more about the product itself.
it's
Your flagship one.
Yeah, it's the main product we are selling right now, and it's working on the front line. We call it ETER. It's direction finding system. Basically, it's the sensor that reads the radio signal from the front line and determine the precise position of the emitters. So the modern war is not kind of war we had back in the days, World War II or any other wars we had previously, because there were no such amount of radio signals, radio stations,
Right.
UAVs. Like today, everything is emitting the signals, like your cell phone, everything that in the sky, like all the UAVs and everything that has, like for example, your laptop, it's radiating the signal. And we basically, what we do, we detect those signals and we help our militaries to detect precise location of that emitter. So anything that radiates the signal, we read that and send information to operators. And that's how we operate, and our devices doing this exact thing.
But there is something very special about your flagship product, is that it can be used on tactical and operational level, unlike on the strategic level. So it differentiates it from what is usually used on the battlefield. Yeah.
Right.
Can you tell about some of the cases, especially when it helped the military to do something that wasn't possible if not using your product?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not kind of new type of product. We already had that on the market. So we had big history of direction finding system, starting from World War I and then World War II. So the problem with these solutions, they are too big. Their antenna sets are kind of really huge, like 2 meters, 3 meters. And the thing is, like, operators have to sit near them, like 200 meters. Maybe if you use optic fibers, you can increase the length of it. But that's the limitation of the old system. And also they operate on a operational level, not on a tactical level. So, and having all that, you have the lots of information incoming, you have lots of signal incoming from the front line, and you operate on the 200 kilometers plus range, which is kind of hard to deal with if you are operator and you have to create all the reports and send it back to your commanders and all that. So we saw that opportunity and we received the request from the military specifically, like, can you like make a smaller one device? Because on the paper we have these devices, but in reality we don't have the operators who know how to operate these devices, and basically they are really easy to spot from the UAVs, like for example Orlans. Russians specifically were hunting these direction finders with the Orlans. They were flying around looking for these antennas. It's really easy to spot. And also there are reasons like why it's easy to spot, because you have to put it somewhere where near it should not be any like metal devices or no cellular towers, etc. So lots of reasons, and we have taken that information and basically created a device that is small. Antenna can be placed anywhere where you like, and we've started to work on a tactical level, which what we have done. There's a situation awareness maps. And if we're talking about operational, it's 200 kilometers, right? But what we have done, we are just physically reduced the size of the map, and we kind of zoomed in.
Okay.
Right. So we can see on tactical level the specific area of interest. And we are working with the smaller chunks of information incoming from these zones that operators specifically were interested in.
So cases.
Yes, cases. Well, just recently we had information from our units who are working with our devices. Like they destroyed, with our solution, they found a big jammer truck that costs about $90 million called Palantir. It's a kind of a big truck with really expensive equipment on board. And they have found that truck with our devices and destroyed it. And the cost, $90 million, is cover all our expenses for all our production, all our R&D efforts and investments we have raised for ourselves and for our production.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's the price of the device that helped to destroy that?
You mean which
of your product
Okay.
compared to what you managed
Right,
to
it was destroyed with the FPV drone, but our devices cost
Helped
roughly
to.
$35,000 for three pieces of these devices. So we basically have three devices that determine the
And
position of the.
they have to work in the system, right?
Yeah, correct. They are combined with software on higher level. So it's kind of, if we are compared to cloud solutions, right? You have the server hidden somewhere else, and we have the connectivity from these IoT devices. So it's kind of edge devices that sends the information, calculate the signals where it's coming from, and send a small chunk of information to the server that does its calculation on a higher level and get the information to the operator and shows it as a point on the map. So you can work with that point. You can export that in other situation awareness map, or you can work with our map we provide as a service. So yeah, free of charge, of course.
So we know that your product is much less expensive compared to
Yes.
other systems that are used by NATO countries.
Yes.
Can you explain us why? And when I'm saying much cheaper, we mean up to 50 times, right? 30, 50
Around
times?
that, yes.
Around that.
Up to 100 times.
So
yeah.
why that? Why you managed to reach that?
Well, it's kind of, if we compare the car to the plane, right? Plane flies much higher, much faster. Yeah, and costs like 100 times more. We have the same, like the history of the direction finding solutions. They have the big frequencies that can basically operate on all frequency ranges.
Okay.
We specifically need for example, we received a request from units that is specifically hunting for the radio stations, right? So they don't need all that things all the expensive.
So it's very tailored approach.
Yeah. So basically, you come to us with the request. We need this frequency, and maybe that frequency. We analyze everything, and we give you a proposition. Like we can work with this antenna sets with these devices, and this unit is roughly cost 50 times less than all the other. And also, we produce our own hardware, not just software. So basically, we shrink the price of these devices because everything is made in house, like hardware, software, all that, and the antennas, everything. So yeah, that's how we keep the price low. Because if we compare ourselves to other manufacturers, like other direction finder producers, they most times use hardware that is available on the market, and that is quite expensive. So yeah, that's how we keep price low. We work with specific frequencies, specific parameters that militaries need, right? And we create a special equipment for specific needs.
As we know, you're very innovative and you spend lots of money and efforts on R&D.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the representatives of your company gave an interview a year ago to my colleague Katerina Supron in Ukrainian, but it's also on Militarnyi.com. And he mentioned that you have two directions that are of priority for you for the next year. And he mentioned those R&D and developing new components, but also extending the range for your products. Did you succeed with your plans?
Yes. We've increased there's a window that you work with in terms of frequencies, like frequency window, and we had up to 10 megahertz frequency, but right now we increased to 5 times, so it's 50 megahertz frequency right now. And the bandwidth, like the top frequency we work with, it used to be 1.6 gigahertz, and right now we work up to 3.2 gigahertz, and we constantly updating our hardware. And next milestone for us is 6 gigahertz, and then next mile after that is going to be 12 gigahertz. So it's
what are those numbers mean in actual terms on the battlefield? So what you can detect with those frequencies that you can't with others?
That is a really good question. Thank you for that, because it's actually debatable if you want to go higher. Like it's all about the request from the militaries, right? If you are trying to hunt down the active radars, which are operating starting from 3.2 gigahertz, there are some old systems that are working on lower frequencies, but you have two options. You have to have software-defined radios or any devices that can work up to 12 gigahertz, for example, right? Or you can down convert the frequency. So that's kind of engineering stuff you have to consider in terms of how fast you can deliver or
right.
How cheap it's going to be.
But then somebody on the tactical level can actually make this decision, right?
Right. Yes. Well, no, it's kind of. Like we always talk with militaries, and we have 3 militaries on board with our companies who are just advisor. They are not getting any like benefit from it. Just help us to improve constantly. So they know what to do, and we have like plan for next 5 years how we are moving from this point to that point. Because you cannot jump ahead of your possibilities, right? You cannot just build a plane if you've never been into small airplanes or something like that. Just as an example. So yeah, we have plans. We are constantly upgrading. Like all the iteration we take takes about 3 months for us just to iterate to the next level in terms of software, in terms of hardware, and also we have to like synchronize teams between each other. It's another level of challenge for us. Yes, and also we connected with the government, with the militaries. And we kind of have this triangle, and we constantly speak with each other through the brave one, through the other.
We'll talk about the ecosystem later. So I want to get back to we covered frequency a little bit and the range that you improved, but also about the components. I want to, a couple of examples of the components that you develop in-house that help you keep the product up to date, because it's very important. This short innovation cycle within Ukraine is the only thing that's impossible to do abroad. Yeah, and keeps you to make the product cheaper. So A couple of examples of the components that you developed in-house.
Yeah, well, first of all, we were using different components that are ready for us. Like, for example, DC-DC converters. So basically, like if you are using the batteries, you cannot just plug in 48 volts into all your components you're using. So you have to have lots of converters, right? And we were buying those converters for all our components, small components. So we've started to replacing those components. First of all, because they have tend to run out of the shelves. So we don't want that. We don't want to be blocked by some producers who cannot produce more, like create a bigger capacity for the old components we need to deliver the product. So we replaced that. We've created our own DC-DC converters for all our products, and we are not we shrink the price of these components.
And you're not dependent
for
on the import.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yes. So everything is like we're moving from buying components from everyone and to create some components, like critical components, by ourselves. We reducing the price. And we are saving ourselves some time just in terms of like negotiations and also maybe waiting when they arrive and all that, And also like components, we kind of in the process of removing all the Chinese components.
Right.
For obvious reasons, we started that process.
What's the
almost 2
percentage
years
of the
ago.
localization in your products?
Right now, around
Average.
15%. So we use around 15% of Chinese components.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like if you're about
It's
to
quite
move,
low.
yeah, thank you. But it's still really high percentage, and we are like working on reducing that percentage. Because if you are going into the NATO countries market, you have to remove all those components. So you have to have zero components from the
But you
China.
can replace them with European made, or are those components that they don't have any analogues?
Yeah, exactly. But this process takes some time,
Right,
It's
right.
kind of,
But
it's
you're
not just.
also under the pressure to produce more for the military.
Exactly,
So basically, it's all it's.
It's kind of prioritizing. And also you can keep using that components still when you're ready to deliver a new type of product with all new components. So you can switch immediately from one to
Okay,
another.
I have this feeling that this is what I get when I talk to CTO. We just moved in the technical details instead of speaking about the infrastructure, the ecosystem, and other things that might be very interesting to our. But I think that's great that you can talk about technical details, being so inspired and kind of making a story out of that. That's important.
That's my life. I live with it, everyday routine for me. But it's my hobby as well. So
that's great. But getting back out of the technical field, more into infrastructure and investments. So I do know that your company is combining like funding from grants, but also investments. Can you tell us a bit more? Is a recent investment your first one, or you already had some investments? And also, did you attract any grants funding? And if so, what's the percentage, if you can say, or if not, it's just like what mechanism are doing what in your portfolio?
Yeah. As a CTO, I don't have like details about this, but I can give you like a general
overview.
Overview of the situation right now. So yes, we started with the grants from the Brave One and other organizations that saw the opportunity of this of our in our company in our devices. We fulfill with these grants. Actually, if we haven't had that back in the days,
at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, I don't think we would survive that because like we were working as volunteers and just when we got our first checks, we decided like okay, I think it's the best time just to switch to like work as a full-time jobs because if you want to shift from volunteering stuff and work after the war, like born in midnight oil.
It's just not sustainable.
Exactly. In long term, it's not working. Yeah, and also if you want to do like strategic planning, you have
It's just impossible to do.
Yes. So that was our start, and thank God Brave1 existed back then, and we we get our first checks, but. Unfortunately, it was not enough, and we needed to like grow faster, expand faster, help militaries faster. We had like if we were speaking like in terms of how long is the front line, that's just crazy. How many kilometers of the range you have to cover, all cities you want to cover, because we detect also UAVs that are flying around, right? So we want to cover cities as well, not just the front line. So yeah, that is really crucial. The speed of your production and your upgrades are you have to be faster than your foe.
So then you got the investment.
Correct. Yeah, we started to work on investors, and we started to pitch back in 2022. It was really hard because back in the days we haven't had such events like Brave One, expos and all that. We had so few investors we could just barely count them on on our two hands, maybe even on one hand. So yeah, but right now everything is changing. We have more and more investors who are interested in this field, investing into Ukrainian startups, and I don't know the exact how many Ukrainians we have in terms of like investors on board, but the majority investors that we have, they are foreigners. So majority investments came from the
Foreign countries.
Yes.
And it's interesting because, with our podcast, we are also trying to draw the attention of potential investors that are considering, investing in Ukrainian defense tech. And my question to you is, are they talking, like, do you have the concept of dual use of your product? Are you thinking about how it can be used in other countries that is not in war or in Ukraine after the war?
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's imagine Putin is dead right now and our Russian soldiers are just flee. So what's next, right? And here's the fun part. We can already see that shift from the UAVs are just military or racing stuff, but we already seen the situation where it is being used to trafficking some forbidden stuff around the border or anything like that, and we can detect that. We can detect the operators who operate the UAVs, and we can detect the UAVs that are flying around. We can intercept
So it's
them.
border security mostly, right?
Not only that, law enforcement or like surveillance maybe, and rescue operation as well. For example, if you lost in somewhere in the mountains, you can just you can use your phone as a beacon, and we can find you.
To be located somewhere in the mountains, right?
Right. So imagine you're seeing some mobile phone somewhere in mountains. You can definitely might think of that person lost or need help. So yeah.
Okay, it's interesting. Also, we wanted to talk about the ecosystem that Ukraine developed, around the defense. And we are today at Defense Tech Valley 2025. So my key question would be, as you mentioned, when you just started, there were just people who volunteered for your cause, and now it's the whole infrastructure. Can you estimate the role of say Brave One and the other systems and agencies, organizations that the state together with private partnerships built to help evolve your company and your initiative?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I already said, that without Brave One, I don't think it would work out like it did. But we are really grateful, Brave One, for this opportunity. And also, we have lots of other communities who gather up the startups, the entrepreneurs, and help them with pitching sessions, attract more investors, and all that. This is really great. For example, Techosystem or Iron Cluster from Lviv. They're really great guys, and they're doing an irreplaceable job. And that's not only that, because if we are talking about UAVs and all that fancy stuff we see every day on the TV, that's just the tip of the iceberg, And on the bottom you have government who's working 24/7 just to update the walls, and the volunteers who are getting the information from one side and sharing it with another. And we have this triangle with the private sector, government, volunteers, and they are working together. And they build the infrastructure that holds this iceberg, right? Form everything we see on television, like So yeah, this is kind of the things no one sees, no one asked about, but this is so important, like this infrastructure and what is built on a ground level, and we kind of often overlook. This is irreplaceable and cannot like be taken for granted, because this is the ground level which you use to build your house, basically. So you're not gonna build the house if you don't have the ground for it prepared. So that's the same with the technology we have right now.
And the last question, since we are since we think that our target audience, among others, of course, are potential investors, what would be your message to potential investors in defense tech who might be considering, investing in Ukrainian companies, but who also within this Rearm Europe programs might be thinking about funding their own, local companies? So, what's your message to them?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question. Well, I kind of can start to talk about it. It will take hours just to.
We have 10 minutes.
Yeah. Generally speaking, like if you were, let's imagine you're a producer somewhere outside of Ukraine. You don't have war that is happening in your country. So you have created some UAV. Let's say some UAV or other devices, and you're starting selling to the government, right? And it goes straight to the shelf, and it's not being used anywhere. So it's just sitting there.
And it's already outdated tomorrow.
Exactly. So even us, we have like 3 months lifespan of the iterations. Like we have
of the product.
Yes, we do iterations like every 3 months, and I can definitely say like everything we've delivered
should be less.
Exactly. Yeah, we have to move faster. But if we are speaking terms, like if we are talking about the product we've delivered a year ago, oh my God, it's just completely obsolete already. Like I don't know, it's not gonna work. And also, the thing I just briefly mentioned, that the infrastructure we have, to achieve the same goals, you have to build that infrastructure. You have to change the laws, and it's like 10 years of hard working with everything.
Right.
It's just not just create drone and put it on a shelf and expect it's going to be working like immediately. You have to train operators. You have to have like lots of programs regarding the education, regarding the procurement system, which I haven't mentioned, but it's extremely crucial to have the really good procurement system for your militaries. You cannot just expect like 10 years contracts and expect that this tank that is already obsolete is going to be fine
delivered.
In 5 years. So it's
right.
There's, and also like in my opinion, what foreign companies and investors should be investing into, either into Ukrainian-based company or the joint company. So like they want to produce drones and send to us, and not just random drones, but with our expertise. So we kind of have to start work together, deliver the products for Ukraine, and constantly iterate this process. So we upgrade, update, deliver, test, and repeat. So and that's the only way how can you not become obsolete in long-term run.
Let's end on this powerful message to our potential international investment. Thank you, Oleksandr, for being with us.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you
a
for
pleasure.
your time. Nice being here. Thank you for the proposition.